New standalone ERs are popping up all across Central Florida, bringing life-saving care closer than ever. WESH 2 explores the sudden expansion and what it means for the future of local healthcare.
Healthcare is local. You have to make it local.
Tonight at 6.
You could go gray and rock it.
Is gray the new sex symbol? Meet the viral sensations redefining what it means to go gray. I feel absolutely beautiful. Next, Cameron Hall.
Now at noon, 12 hours from now, Rockledge Hospital will shut its doors for good. We are live breaking down what happens to those who work here and the patients who need emergency care. Plus, Orange County leaders finalizing plans to let officers work with ICE to remove undocumented immigrants. Why some people are calling for them to change these plans. And Central Florida's hot and dry weather is not going away anytime soon. First Warning meteorologist Eric Burris is timing out the next chance for rain.
WESH 2 News starts with breaking news.
Good afternoon. I'm Christina Watkins. That breaking news today at noon takes us to Osceola County regarding the case of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. Let's get you straight to WESH 2's Spencer Tracy joining us live outside of the courthouse in Kissimmee. Spencer, the judge ruled Stephen Stearns must be back in court tomorrow.
That's right. Now, attorneys for Stephen Stearns wanted to postpone a hearing originally scheduled for tomorrow. The judge denied the defense's motion to delay that suppression hearing. Now, Stearns was in the courtroom this morning, and it did not last long. Now, we just got new documents that show that the defense team claimed to have new confidential information. The defense claims that law enforcement unlawfully collected evidence from Stearns' phone. It's a claim that prosecutors have denied, stating that Stearns gave them consent at the time. Now, Stearns is accused of abusing and killing his ex-girlfriend's daughter, 13-year-old Madeline Soto. He faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder and sexual abuse charges. Now, back out here, that suppression hearing is scheduled to happen tomorrow. The state argued that they have witnesses ready to go. Of course, we'll continue to follow this and bring you the latest here from Osceola. For now, I'm covering Osceola County live in Kissimmee. Spencer Tracy, WESH 2 News.
Taking you to Brevard County now, where Rockledge Hospital will shut its doors for good. Yep. Orlando Health bought the hospital last October after years of neglect left it in poor condition. WESH 2's Megan Moriarty is live outside of that hospital right now. And Megan, we know more than 400 employees accepted positions at another hospital.
And a little under 40 members of the team here also accepted retirement packages. Now, something that is just new that we just learned in about the last hours that the city of Rockledge says that as this hospital expects to close at 11:59 tonight, that ER wait times are now up across the county. So they are urging people to seek out, if they need some medical care, to first call your primary care doctor or utilize those standalone urgent cares. So this way you do not overwhelm emergency rooms. It's something that has been a concern for many after the announcement of the hospital closure, which happened back in February. And since then, there has been a lot of community backlash. Workers holding rallies outside the hospital, and even some city leaders calling on the hospital to stay open, asking for the hospital system to reconsider. But hospital systems say Rockledge Hospital is in need of major upgrades after Orlando Health bought the hospital last year, adding that at this point it is better to close the existing hospital and build a new one. Fire rescue throughout the county has made plans to adapt to the gap in healthcare by bringing in additional ambulances from private companies as well. And there are plans to build a brand new standalone hospital by Orlando Health, as well as some additional urgent cares. We just don't have a specific location yet. They have not announced that. Ahead on WESH at 4 o'clock, we'll break down the other options that community members will have when it comes to healthcare and what they should do going forward. Covering Brevard County live in Rockledge, Megan Moriarty, WESH 2 News.
Let's talk now about the dry weather we've seen across Central Florida. The Palm Bay Fire Chief says it likely will issue a burn ban for Palm Bay and maybe even Brevard County as a whole. That's after yet another brush fire in our community. This one started yesterday on private property near St. John's Heritage Parkway and Babcock Street. It's where people drop off things to recycle. If you look at the map, you can see several Central Florida counties already issued burn bans, including Orange, Seminole, Lake, Polk, and Volusia. Let's bring in First Warning meteorologist Eric Burris now. And Eric, that hot and dry weather continues today.
Yeah, it does indeed. And you know, we've got plenty of cloud cover over top of us, but what we do not have for now is any rainfall. Our First Warning live Doppler radar scanning around, but not finding anything. So that certainly is good news. Now here's a look at the satellite and radar composite. Clouds are building through, but all the moisture is all the way up here into the Panhandle and even up into Mississippi. And that's where it will stay. We've got a big blocking ridge of high pressure, basically keeping all of the rain away from us. So we bring up the temperatures, we get plenty of sun, but it does not allow any rainfall to move in. It's 80 degrees this noon in the city, 81 in the villages. Along the shoreline, a mixed bag of 70s for Flagler, but the rest of us hanging out in the low to mid 80s. So looking ahead, temperatures continue to climb. We'll go to about 90 degrees 3 o'clock this afternoon. A nice breeze out of the east-southeast, 5, 10, even 15 miles an hour. And then through the sunset tonight, notice more and more clearing by overnight. And looking ahead, we actually have an opportunity for rainfall. Our futurecast going all the way to next week, like 7 days out, starting to time out some showers to the peninsula. But let's talk about when more than just a few showers move our direction. It's Central Florida's certified most accurate forecast in minutes.
That rain happening now. Orange County leaders are going to talk about how it plans to work with the feds on immigration. They already approved a plan to let officers work with ICE on removing undocumented immigrants. WESH 2's Bob Hazen is live at the county commissioners meeting right now. And Bob, we know some people are calling for them to change those plans.
Yeah, they came to the meeting, which is going on right now behind me in the building here, and they said that if the county is going to work with ICE on immigration, then they at least need to be extra transparent about it. And they also want the county to make a public list of who's been detained so loved ones can keep track of where they are and what's happening. Commissioners have also raised concerns about exactly how this is all going to be paid for and the extra workload that's going to be on officers who are enforcing those immigration laws. Again, they're having a workshop this afternoon on that, where we should get some of those details ironed out. Covering Orange County live in Orlando, Bob Hazen, WESH 2 News.
This afternoon, we are beginning to see the pomp and circumstance for the days of mourning following the loss of Pope Francis. As NBC's Ann Thompson tells us, the Pope's coffin is set to be transferred to St. Peter's Basilica tomorrow ahead of Saturday's funeral. Back here at home in Central Florida, the Titusville Police Department says the FDLE finished its investigation into an officer shooting and killing a man outside of his home. Police said they got a call to Robbins Avenue last month about a suspicious person. The department says officers ended up shooting 25-year-old Trimaria Charles after they say he tried picking up a gun that fell from his waistband during a struggle. That shooting led to cries for justice as well as town halls in the community. The police chief says once they finish looking at that report, they will send it to the state attorney, who will decide if officers will face criminal charges. Then the department will do its own internal investigation. After that ends, Charles's family will get to see the body camera video before it's released to all of us. All new today at noon, Oviedo police shared new pictures of the people accused of vandalizing the Oviedo Mall. Look at this. They gave WESH 2 these pictures showing two people they think they could be connected to at least one break-in we told you about last week. It happened on a bus belonging to OTB Kids that provides preschool, aftercare, as well as other programs. Police say evidence found in the bus may belong to these people. Police also say the suspects vandalized one bus between April 13th and 14th, causing about $15,000 in damage. And then on April 15th, police say someone broke into two more buses, but they're not quite ready to say if this is connected to the first break-in. Regardless, if you know anything, you're encouraged to call Oviedo Police. There is a rally planned today in Brevard County ahead of the school board meeting. Organizers want to show support for a Satellite Beach high school teacher who's not coming back next year. That's because the board will not renew her contract because she admitted to using the student's preferred name without parent approval, and that violates a state law. The rally is planned for 4 o'clock. The school board meeting begins tonight at 5:30. Orange County Public Schools is set to talk about hiring outside help to try to bring students back into the classroom. If hired, a company would reach out to families of former OCPS students to encourage their parents and guardians to re-enroll their child. The district would pay nearly $1,000 for every former student who returns to campus. Still ahead at noon, terrifying moments on the tarmac. Hundreds of people forced to evacuate this plane from Orlando International Airport. How experts are trying to ease concerns about this form of transportation. And later, is social media losing its popularity? The number of teenagers closing the apps to protect their peace.
Closed captioning is sponsored by the Flooring Center.
Tomorrow morning, giving you a say in the future of Orange County's districts.
And timing out the next chance for rain while our grass gets drier and drier.
Start your day with WESH 2 News Sunrise, starting at 4:30 a.m. You're watching WESH 2.
It has now been 24 hours since we watched this frightening moment at Orlando International Airport. We told you about it right here during WESH 2 News at noon. The FAA is now investigating what caused this Delta plane's engine to catch on fire on the tarmac with nearly 300 passengers and crew members on board. NBC's Tom Costello tells us who alerted the crew about the flames.
Tom Costello, NBC News.
Nearly 7,000 pounds of experiments and supplies are now at the International Space Station. The SpaceX Dragon capsule docked at the ISS about 4 hours ago. The mission launched early yesterday morning from the Kennedy Space Center. The Dragon spacecraft will stay at the ISS until next month. Then it will return to Earth with research and cargo splashing down off the coast of California. On this Earth Day, parts of our country are dealing with severe flooding after deadly storms. We want to start in New Orleans. You can see some drivers trying to navigate these floodwaters, trying to seek higher ground as their cars went underwater. The Army Corps of Engineers says they took advantage of this high water to test this spillway, which is just outside of the city. In neighboring Texas, flooding also took over parts of Houston yesterday. And then in Oklahoma, several people died from storms over the weekend, including 2 children and their mothers who were swept away in floodwaters. Let's bring in first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. Eric, typically when we see storms in Texas and Louisiana, it normally makes its way here to Florida, but we're not getting any of that rain.
No, it's kind of an interesting setup. We've got this big block over top of us. High pressure is the weather term for it. Essentially, it's a wall that just says no rain will move in. We are going to stay stable. So it's beautiful, but that also means we don't get our opportunities for rainfall. Here's a look at that broader shot. And you can see the rain's now moving north of Atlanta. That's that same storm system, Christina, that you were just talking about. So then when does this pattern break down? Well, for starters, looking at the models, the American GFS model tried to paint in a few showers, just a few showers, looking ahead to Thursday. For now, our Futurecast isn't saying it, and neither is the European model, so don't hold your breath for that. But beyond that, there's a narrow opportunity to see a few showers early next week. Here's Monday, April 28th. Again, the GFS doing its thing with a few sprinkles here. European is not. But by Tuesday, both models are at least showing some rain opportunities. So it's not a clear-cut thing, but at least for now, there's an opportunity to see rain in about 6-7 days. So fire danger will stay high for us here in Central Florida because no rainfall, and each day we're kind of picking up those gusts a little bit, combined with overall lower humidity and hot temperatures. So you just have to be very, very careful. There are a number of prescribed burns around our western areas today, Mary and Sumter Lake counties. Just have to make sure that you don't contribute to a problem. Now, looking beyond our 7-day forecast, which is dry, much of the middle of the country will stay quite wet. But for us, our rain chances will still fall below average, and in turn, our temperatures right through the beginning of May staying above average. So here's a look at the 7-day forecast. Highs upper 80s, lower 90s. There's that mention of a shower by about Monday. Back here at home for now, let's just take a peek. Our Tower Cam network taking us to downtown Orlando, looking beautiful. 79 there. It's 81 and a little hazy over in Daytona Beach. Generally speaking, the breeze comes in out of the east-southeast about 10-15 miles an hour, and you can see those high, thin clouds streaming on through. So this afternoon, it's 80s for our eastern spots, lower 90s across the interior, and Futurecast keeping those high, thin, and dry clouds around Central Florida. If you have plans this evening out and about, we'll keep with the clouds through about 8, 9, 10 o'clock, and then the model data really starts to show clouds clearing little by little as the forecast persists tonight. So upper 80s, near 90 degrees for us today. Along the coastline, it's not quite as warm, but still above average. Beautiful sunshine, but we're all kind of waiting with bated breath to see when we finally get those showers back.
Yes, we are. Still ahead today at noon, popular weight loss drugs are helping people drop a significant number of pounds. But what happens when that progress comes to a standstill? What health experts recommend to overcome that plateau and keep moving forward?
First warning weather on WESH 2 is sponsored by Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
WESH 2's Kellyanne Class is your morning meteorologist. She's always tracking, always monitoring, always preparing you for what's next.
I prepare a forecast with you in mind.
Because weather can impact your plans. Start each day with Central Florida's most accurate. Kellyanne will always give you the first warning to keep you informed and safe.
We are going to be under a severe weather warning day.
Trust first warning meteorologist Kellyanne Class on WESH 2 News Sunrise. Weekdays starting at 4:30 a.m.
Millions of Americans are using popular GLP-1 drugs to try and help them lose weight. And while a lot of people found success while taking these medicines, Mandy Gaither tells us what to do if you so happen to plateau in your weight loss journey. It appears social media may be losing some of its popularity among the younger generations. According to a Pew Research Center survey, look at this, 48% of teenagers say online platforms have a mostly negative effect on their peers. That's up 16% compared to what they found in 2022. Only 11% say social media is mostly positive for young men and women. 44% of teens also say they're now spending less time on the platforms and their smartphones in general. $350 million. That's how much Walgreens agreed to pay as part of a settlement over the opioid crisis. The chain was accused of illegally filling millions of prescriptions over the last decade for opioids and other controlled substances. The Department of Justice removed its complaint against Walgreens as part of the settlement and filed a similar lawsuit against CVS back in December. This is just the latest in a string of deals drug makers, wholesalers, and pharmacies agreed to make with government, with most of the money required to be used to fight this crisis. All right, next at noon, dangers on the road for walkers and cyclists. The reason why many drivers end up crashing into people, and a look at the worst cities in Central Florida. Also, defending Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, why President Donald Trump says he still has faith in him.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Advent Health.
Local, live, late-breaking. WESH 2 News starts now.
Grab that sunscreen. It's yet another day of dry weather here in Central Florida with temperatures continuing to climb. Eventually, they will reach the 90s. First warning meteorologist Eric Burris is here timing it all out.
Yeah, so we've got some clouds over top of us, which is why these temps are not already in the mid-80s.
Okay.
But slow and steady today will win the race. Let me show you our Tower Cam network, give you an idea. I mean, it is lovely outside, isn't it? Tourist district, you can definitely see there's a little bit of haze. Essentially, atmospherically, there's what's referred to as a temperature inversion. In other words, right above our heads, it actually gets warmer for a bit before it gets cooler, and that kind of traps some of the smoke and other particles particles right here at the surface. You can see it there in Daytona Beach and even into Leesburg as well. Beautiful lunch hour, temperatures upper 70s, lower 80s, and even though it's a little hazy and we've got plenty of clouds over top of us, we do not have anything in terms of rain. Our first warning live Doppler radar was showing some prescribed burns earlier in Lake County in terms of smoke plumes, but that's been it. No actual rainfall. So for the afternoon, temperatures do climb to 90 if you're heading out here to Epcot or anywhere else in the tourist district. Things looking good. We'll keep a mostly cloudy sky over top as those temperatures hang out in the upper 80s right through dinner time and then start to come down approaching bedtime. But that said, we do have that next opportunity for rain. Futurecast says by early next week, we'll fill in some green. Let's discuss that a little more in depth. See how much we could squeeze out of this rainmaker. Central Florida's certified most accurate forecast in minutes.
To our nation's capital, where President Donald Trump is standing by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth after finding out he shared sensitive military information about U.S. strikes in Yemen on another group chat. As NBC's Garrett Haig tells us, the message even included members of his family. Back here in Central Florida, jury selection will continue today in the resentencing for two men convicted of killing 6 people. Troy Victorino and Jerome Hunter were sentenced to death for beating 6 young people with bats, then stabbing them to death in 2004. Those are those victims. Both men were sentenced to death for their roles in the so-called Xbox murders, but that was later overturned because the jury did not reach a unanimous decision. A judge dismissed 12 potential jurors yesterday. The final group of 12 should be seated later on this week. A 72-year-old man is now in jail accused of killing an Osceola County woman more than 3 decades ago. Listen to this. Deputies arrested Gene Stuller at his home in Apopka. He's charged with murder for the death of 27-year-old Julia Sue Wilbanks. Investigators say they found the victim on the side of the road in St. Cloud back in 1991. The police department says genetic genealogy helped them point to Stuller as a possible suspect.
In March of this year, our detectives conducted surveillance and successfully obtained a discarded item, a straw containing Stuller's DNA.
An arrest warrant says they compared the DNA to blood found on the victim's shorts, and police say it was a match. This former Hunters Creek Middle School teacher pleaded guilty to using the internet to lure in kids for sexual activity. Deputies arrested Italo Benini back in February after investigators say he offered an 8-year-old digital currency on the game Roblox if the child exposed themselves. Since then, prosecutors said they have 700 chats on the messaging app Discord and say Benini would often pretend to be a 16-year-old boy. He could face up to life in prison to do as a kid. Up next, it's a Sunshine Showdown. We'll take a look at the ice-cold rivalry between the Panthers and the Lightning ahead of the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Plus, we are 1 month away until Epic Universe opens in Orlando. The economic impact Universal Orlando's newest theme park is set to have in our state.
New standalone ERs are popping up all across Central Florida, bringing life-saving care closer than ever. WESH 2 explores the sudden expansion and what it means for the future of local healthcare.
Healthcare is local. You have to make it local.
Tonight at 6.
On the next Access Hollywood, the shocking TV death that everyone's talking about.
It's obviously so heartbreaking. It's so terrible.
Then Luke Bryan and Lionel Richie on Katy Perry's Race to Space. Next Access Hollywood.
Next at noon, a Boston Marathon runner received a lot more than a medal when crossing the finish line. We will show you this sweet surprise waiting for her on the other side.
First warning weather on WESH 2 is sponsored by Florida Window and Door.
The 129th Boston Marathon is officially in the books. More than 30,000 runners participated in the 26.2-mile run yesterday. Congratulations to everyone, though only 4 are wearing that coveted crown. So in the men's division, Kenya's John Karor won his first ever Boston Marathon with a time of 2 hours, 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Woo! On the women's side, Kenya's Sharon Lodeki crossed in 2 hours, 17 minutes and 22 seconds, completely crushing a course record set 11 years ago. In the wheelchair divisions, 2 previous champs added to their overall win totals. Oregon's Susanna Scaroni and silver bullet Marcel Hug of Switzerland. Huge congrats. And of course, there are so many other happy memories at the Boston Marathon. Crossing the finish line brought Abby Dubell to tears, but little did she know there was another surprise waiting for her. Yep, her boyfriend, Kyle Jones, proposed after she collected her medal.
Ever since I've known her, she's always wanted to do the Boston Marathon, and I was just thinking, you know, her family's going to be here. My family is, all her closest friends, and it'd be a beautiful culmination of all that.
This is the greatest surprise that I ever could have had at the end. So thank you for putting this all together with all of our family.
Oh my goodness, that's so sweet. Congratulations to all the 30,000 people who ran in this year's marathon. Oh, I love love. All right, we are officially 1 month away from stepping through the portals at Universal Epic Universe. This is the first major theme park to come to Central Florida since 1999. And it's been years in the making. Universal Orlando executives first announced it in 2019, but the work started way before that. Epic Universe features 5 worlds: Dark Universe, Super Nintendo World, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, and at the center of it all, Celestial Park. Economists predict the first year of Epic could bring in about $2 billion for our state. Head to WESH.com right now. Look under the Park Central tab to check out our interactive preview guide to this new theme park. It is so much fun. The Central Florida Regional Transportation Authority wants to make it easier to get to Epic. Look at this new 311 extension to the Epic Universe Loop. It includes select trips to the Helios Grand Hotel. The route also stops at the park's transfer center. 2026 vacation bookings at Walt Disney World officially open up today, and there's a special perk to those planning to stay at Disney resorts and hotels. You ready for this? If you buy Disney dining plans for the adults in your party, you get free dining plans for kids ages 3 to 9. And then continuing next year, resort hotel guests can enjoy 30 minutes of early park entry. And then over at SeaWorld Orlando, yeah, there's something for everybody. Their newest attraction opens for pass holder previews this weekend. Expedition Odyssey is an immersive indoor flying theater. It has 2 levels, 15 seats on each side. Starting Saturday, Platinum Pass holders will get to experience this newest family adventure. Gold Pass holders can join in on the fun on Sunday, then Silver on Monday, followed by Bronze and Fun Passes on Tuesday and Wednesday. Expedition Odyssey officially opens May 1st. That ride is going to be a hit because it's cold in there.
Oh, perfect.
It is perfect for the summer months.
Yes. Listen, you know, it's been a little hazy outside, and I went looking around. The air quality index for Central Florida is at a rare moderate. I mean, it's not dangerous, right? But if you're sensitive, if you're asthmatic, things like that, we need to take it easy, all right? Just letting you know. And I went digging into the weather balloon data and found that at about 3,000 feet up, not all that high up, the temperatures actually get warmer with height. We call it a temperature inversion. And what that does is it sets a boundary. And any smoke from fires or anything like that, they get trapped here at the surface. That's why the air quality is a little down. And as a matter of fact, you can clearly tell just by looking at our tower cam network. This is looking over toward Epic Universe, and you can see that haze. It's not like it's smoky necessarily, but there's a haze to it. So just take it easy if you're a sensitive breather, okay? 80 degrees, current temperature, winds variable at about 7 or so miles an hour, but we are dry nonetheless when we kind of look at the overall pattern. The Keach-Byram Drought Index measures soil moisture, and I like to use the color yellow. Anything from yellow into orange lets you know we're pretty dry. And essentially through the metro area up through Marion County, we're there. For the rest of our areas, Flagler, Brevard, Osceola, and Sumter, it won't take much for things to get drier and drier. So we're starting to really need rainfall. And we're looking ahead at our long-range models, right? This is next Monday, because up to then, we don't really have any rainfall in the forecast. But next Monday, April 28th, we start to see a few coastal showers trying to come in. But if you notice, it's hundredths of an inch of rainfall. And as a matter of fact, going all the way through to Tuesday, a couple of passing showers. But if I take this all the way through to next Friday, all the way through to May, look at the numbers. Some areas will get half of an inch of rain. Most of the area, though, getting a quarter of an inch of rain or less. That's in the next 2 weeks' time. So to say that we are very, very dry is a bit of an understatement. Today's fire danger index is high through the metro. There's an elevated fire danger threat for our western areas looking ahead to tomorrow. And certainly what we need is the rainy season to kick in. But we have about a month and change until the daily sea breeze showers and storms really get going, at least normally get going. For now, looking at the visible satellite, some clouds over top, no rainfall showing up, and the rest of our day looks pretty nice. Temperatures climbing to about 89, 90 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. Then for tonight, we'll go to a partly cloudy sky and eventually drop things off. Back into the 60s tomorrow morning. 90 a high temperature for Wednesday. We'll be to about 91 degrees, though, by Sunday. That would make Sunday the hottest day we have seen yet this year. And as a matter of fact, our coastal communities are looking equally as nice, with temperatures, though, just a couple of notches cooler thanks to that ocean breeze.
A new fantasy adventure hits theaters this weekend. Why the cast of The Legend of Ochi couldn't wait to bring this spellbinding tale to life on the big screen.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Tico People's Gas.
What does breaking news look like? At WESH 2 News, it's a team of journalists connecting you to what matters most.
Also happening tonight,
it's a reporter gathering facts to go live in your community.
Live from Orange County.
It's a forecast focused on accuracy to keep your family safe.
Good line of storms about to hit.
From the sky, on the ground, or on the go. This is what breaking news looks like. And it's all here on WESH 2 News. Local, live, late breaking.
Emily Watson and Stranger Things breakout star Finn Wolfhard find themselves surrounded by a slew of magical creatures in the fantasy adventure, The Legend of Ochi. David Daniel gives us a preview of the movie before it's in theaters on Friday. We are following some breaking news for our afternoon newscasts. We just found out the man accused of killing a pastor's wife during an Orlando home invasion is about to be back in court. We'll get you that correct video in just a moment, but we can tell you the plea hearing for Ronald Davis starts in just about 30 minutes at 1:30. We will be inside of the courtroom and bring you any late-breaking details on our WESH 2 News mobile app, as well as here on the air starting at WESH 2 News at 4. That's the latest here for us today at WESH 2 News at noon. We'll see you again at 4.
Thank you for watching WESH 2 News. Stay connected to local, live, late-breaking coverage anytime, anywhere on WESH.com or on